Hey there, I'm the anime super dad, and we're gonna go over what AI seems to think is the top 10 best starter anime. Um, I've been watching anime for over 20 years now, and this list is, I mean, it's not bad, but it's not great either. The first thing on AI's list is My Hero Academia. Now, this is a good anime, and I do recommend it for starting anime fans, people looking to get into enjoying anime. It's not bad. The unfortunately the fan base has kind of given it a bad rep, but overall the storyline's good. I mean, it's just about a bunch of superpowered kids going to school, more or less, right? So the storyline's good. The writing is not bad. It's not the greatest, but it's not bad either. Overall, I'd give it a 7 out of 10 for starter animes. For people just trying to get into this, just try not to fall in with the rest of the fan base, right? The second one on the list is Attack on Titan. Now, people are going to disagree with me on this one pretty heavily, I might add. But I don't think Attack on Titan should be anybody's first anime ever. It's the animation is great. Don't get me wrong. I love how it looks. But unfortunately, after the second season, they start just throwing random ideas. It feels like they had like this poster board of random ideas that they could go with for the anime, and they just threw darts, and wherever the darts went in, that's what they went with. It's a hodgepodge. That's not to say it's bad. It's definitely not one of my favorite anime, but I did enjoy watching it, and I watched it all the way to the end. And well, I wouldn't watch it again personally, but I mean that's just me, right? I know people who have watched it start to finish two, three, four times even, and I don't have a whole lot of room to talk. I've watched Gurren Lagann start to finish more than 10 times, so I have zero room to talk on this one. But I will stand by Attack on Titan should not be anyone's first anime, mostly because it gives a bad example of what anime is as a whole. It's it's not the most convoluted anime out there, but it is pretty convoluted, and it's one of the darker anime. It could be good starter for some people, but definitely not the broad list that AI is trying to give. The third one is Death Note. I personally really, really, really dislike Death Note as an anime. The live action was awful, and I prefer the live action over the anime, right? Don't get me wrong, that's my opinion because I'm not a huge fan of thriller cop show stuff. Death Note is something that you should recommend to people who, primarily watch stuff like CSI or NCIS, Law and Order, stuff like that. People who like cop shows would love Death Note. Um, because it's the same alley, it's the same jurisdiction, right? Uh, Definitely not something that should be on a broad, hey, here's 10 anime that you should watch for your first anime list. It shouldn't be anybody's first anime unless, once again, they love those cop shows because it is just a thriller. Don't get me wrong, it's a supernatural thriller. Um, so it is obviously different from all those cop shows, but it does run the same way as those cop shows, and it's definitely not for everyone. The fourth one is One Punch Man. Now, One Punch Man, for those of you who don't know, it started off as a web series as like a joke, right? It wasn't supposed to be taken seriously, and it got taken seriously, and it's funny. It's funny. It's well written. It's enjoyable. I enjoyed it the first time I watched through it, and it's still an ongoing series. Um, and I'll continue watching it as it comes out. I thought I was gonna hate it when I went to go watch it, but it was good. It was good. It was enjoyable. Definitely belongs on this list. It's definitely something that I would recommend to certain people for their first anime. A much larger pool of people would enjoy this as their first anime than Attack on Titan or Death Note. Um, Once again, Attack on Titan's a good anime. Death Note, I don't personally think it's a good anime, but lots of people disagree with me on that one. That's okay. Um, the next one, number 5 on the AI's list, is Cowboy Bebop. Now, I grew up watching Cowboy Bebop because I'm an old man, right? I'm 32 years old, so Cowboy Bebop came out when I was a kid, and it's enjoyable. The animation style is dated, obviously. I can't remember exactly when it came out, but it's 90s. So the animation style is dated. The writing is dated. Um, it's good. It's a non-linear storyline, so it can be kind of hard to follow sometimes. But it's one of those ones where if you skip an episode, um, you won't be lost, which is what was needed in the 90s because, we didn't have streaming services. It was, would you get to watch it when it comes on. If you miss a week, well, oh well. I think it's overhyped, personally. I stand on this hill. I will die on this hill. Cowboy Bebop should never be recommended to anyone ever as their first ever anime because it's not what anime is anymore. It doesn't represent anime as a whole. Now, if they only want to get into classic anime, yeah, absolutely, Cowboy Bebop's the way to go. It's good. It's not great. It's not fantastic, but it's good. It's definitely something that everyone should watch at some point during their anime lifestyle. However long they plan on watching anime, I'm going to watch it for the rest of my life. Obviously, I'm locked in. I've been locked in since I was 12. It's fine. It's definitely something that everybody should watch. But it shouldn't be their first anime because I feel like it would turn too many people off from anime. Just because of how dated it is, just because of how dated the animation is. So many people nowadays walk in anime and they go, "Oh, well, this animation looks bad. It's ugh, I don't want to watch this," and they never watch another anime. So I personally wouldn't recommend Cowboy Bebop. I don't think it belongs on the top 10 starter anime list. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me just because every time I ask people, "Hey, what would you recommend to somebody trying to get an anime?" so many people tell me, "Oh, Cowboy Bebop." So I know you guys are going to disagree with me. That's okay. Number 6 on AI's list is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. That's important. For those of you who are watching this to see what they should watch to get into anime, there's 2 different Full Metal Alchemist series. They're both Full Metal Alchemist, right? There's Full Metal Alchemist, just Full Metal Alchemist, which came out first. I grew up watching that. That came out, I want to say when I was in middle school, and it ended, I want to say like my freshman year of high school. Something like that. I can't remember exact dates because I'm getting old, but it came out first. It was really good. It kept me hooked. It was fantastic, but it didn't follow the manga, like hardly at all. There's a lot of tweaks, and that's okay. Anime doesn't have to follow the source material. It's better when it does in most cases, but it doesn't have to. And at the time, the manga was still coming out, and the anime didn't want to wait because of how popular it was. So the developers of the anime just like, okay, we'll just make our own thing. It's fine, whatever. And I personally think they did really good. But Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is a lot better. The animation style is a little bit better. The writing's a little bit better, and it follows the source material a lot better. Mostly because it actually follows the source material. It's good. I definitely recommend it for first-time viewers if that's the kind of thing they're into. If they're into like action and kind of science and kind of magic, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is definitely something that can be recommended as a first-time anime to watch. It definitely belongs on the first 5 animes watched. Like if for a new viewer, they're making lists of the first 5 anime they're gonna watch, it should definitely be on there. But it's definitely something I would recommend as a first ever anime. It's really good. It's a good culmination of what anime as a whole represents. The writing's fantastic, the character development's fantastic, the problems that the main characters have to overcome are relatable to some extent. Obviously not the overall thing that they're trying to accomplish, but the next one on the list is Demon Slayer. I have a love-hate relationship with Demon Slayer. I love the anime. I do. When I love the anime so much that when season 1 ended, I went back and I read the manga because I hadn't read the manga yet, and I knew that the manga was completed, and it's short. The manga is like 280 something chapters, if I remember correctly. It's short. And the prologue or the epilogue just kind of left me you left a foul taste in my mouth for the overall story. But the writing's fantastic. The animation is just like chef's kiss beautiful. It's definitely something I would recommend. Um, it's not quite long enough for there to be real character development, so it doesn't really show as a whole what anime stands for, because one of the biggest things that anime stands for is showing you how people grow, showing you how you as a person can grow. um, Demon Slayer is not really long enough to do that. There is a little bit of character progression, a little bit of character adaptation and growth, but not a lot, and that's because of how short the series is as a whole. um, is that bad? Not really. um, it's it's still going to be one of the longer series on this list, but it's still, as a whole series, it's short. It's short. The next one on the list is going to be Spy Family. Now, I enjoy Spy Family. Uh, it's so far it's the closest thing to a slice of life that's been on this list. But it's not a slice. It's not a slice of life. It's a slice of life with a lot of action packed into it. Which it follows a couple spies that adopt a kid and a dog, and trying to accomplish their mission. And it's got romance, it's got action, it's got everything you need. It's got character development, growth. It is great. I've never met anyone who's been like, I hated Spy Family, it was bad. I'm sure there are people out there that hate on it, but it's, as a whole, Spy Family is a great anime. The movie that came out, 8 months ago, dating this video apparently. The movie was great. You can't go wrong with Spy Family. It's definitely something that can be and should be recommended as a first time anime. But there are definitely people out there that wouldn't really like it as their first anime, so take that with a grain of salt. The next one on the list is Haikyuu. Haikyuu is full-on slice of life sports anime. I'm not the biggest fan of sports anime personally, for the same reason that I don't like sports video games. I'd rather just go out and play the sport. Volleyball, however, I've never been good at, so I'm more than content watching an anime about volleyball. Right? Haikyuu has great character development, great character growth. It's definitely something that I would recommend to the younger generation that are trying to get into anime. It's about high school volleyball. People wanting to get into volleyball. The main character is like short, which is relatable to me personally. I'm 5'6". I'm short as hell, right? But it's a great slice of life anime. There's a little bit of like romance sprinkled in, but it's not like a hard focus on it, right? The hard focus is growing with the people around them and becoming a more cohesive friend unit as well as team, so they can be better at volleyball and win. And that's the goal of a sports anime. That's gonna be the goal of any sports anime you watch, is that the team getting better and winning. But the animation on it is great. Not like season 2 of Blue Lock, which is trash. I definitely recommend Haikyuu for people that enjoy less actiony shows, right? It's fantastic. The last one on this list is Fruits Basket. Now, this is going to piss a lot of people off. I have not watched Fruits Basket. But before you start yelling at me, going in the comments, you're not a real anime fan because you haven't watched Fruits Basket. It came out in 2001, right? In 2001, I was 9 years old. At that point in time, the only anime I have watched was Gurren Lagann, Dragon Ball Z, and I guess we'll call Pokemon an anime. I don't personally. It is a cartoon. No, I'm gonna crucify me here. Pokemon's a cartoon. I don't care. Bite me. I've been watching anime more than most people are watching this video. I will die on the hill that Pokemon is a cartoon. And the reason why I say that is because it doesn't. The animation's like piss poor. It doesn't have any character growth whatsoever, and I mean, it's just throwing animals at each other to beat the crap out of each other. I don't know. Anyway, Fruits Basket. I've heard good things about it. It's a slice of life. When I was 9 years old, I had no desire to watch Slice of Life. I didn't watch my first Slice of Life until I got really depressed in high school and watched Angel Beats, which, if you want to cry, definitely watch Angel Beats. But I do know a little bit about Fruits Baskets because I had friends that watched Fruits Basket in middle school. And by then it was an old anime, right? I know it's kind of a romance slice of life following a 16-year-old girl named Toru, I think. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't watched it. I've heard good things about it. Because I haven't watched it, I would feel weird personally recommending it. But if you know somebody who likes romance, watches a lot of romance movies or romance shows or telenovelas, I don't see why it would be a bad pick. The animation's dated, but it's a slice of life. The animation on those is always dated. Even the ones that are coming out today, the animation style is dated because it's just slice of life. It's just the everyday life, and it's a romance. So I don't see why it would be bad to recommend. I would leave it on that list for sure. Yeah, the only two that I would take off of this list are Attack on Titan and Death Note, and three, Cowboy Bebop. And it's not because they're bad anime. Death Note is bad. Fight me in the comments. It's a hill I'll die on. Attack on Titan isn't bad. It's not. It's not my favorite anime. Not even my top 20. But it's not bad. I think it's too convoluted for a first-time viewer. Cowboy Bebop is overhyped. It has very little character growth, and the animation style is overly dated because it came out in the 90s. I would definitely replace them. Off the top of my head, I can't think of what I'd replace them with, but I would definitely replace them. Yeah, I take that back. I would replace Death Note with Gurren Lagann. Hands down, definitely belongs on this list solely because there's so much character growth. It's funny as hell. And I mean, yeah, it was one of the first anime that I watched, beginning to end, and I've watched, like I said, over 10 times. It's short. It's 26 episodes. People can breeze through it, and if they don't like it, they can wash their mouth of it with something else on this list. But it's even the people that don't like it have never been like, I hated it so much, I'm never watching anime again. They're like, no, I didn't like it, so let's watch something else, see if I can enjoy something else. But it's a mech anime, which are, they're up in the air. But yeah, no, this list overall, I'd say AI did all right. 3 on this list, in my opinion, straight up don't belong on this list. A handful of them I'd replace, but they're good choices. But something you have to remember, everybody's different. So when somebody comes up and asks you, hey, what anime do you think I should watch first? Ask them questions, their likes and dislikes when it comes to shows and movies. Because everybody's different. I can't just walk around and be like, my favorite anime is Neon Genesis Evangelion. So I can't go around and be like, oh, you want to get into anime? Watch Neon Genesis Evangelion. No, I can't do that. It's convoluted. The animation style is super dated because it's older than I am. And, a lot of people don't like it because it's confusing. It's non-linear, but it's non-linear in a way that gets confusing fast. So I can't recommend that to anybody as their starting anime. I just can't. It'd be a bad idea. So many people would get turned off of anime if I did that. So everybody's different. Ask questions. And, for those of you who are trying to get an anime, and that's why you're watching this list is a good thing to go off of. Just be wary that AI made this list based off of popularity of anime, which is why I think it's wild that Cowboy Bebop is on this list considering how old it is, but I guess it's still pretty popular. And anime being popular doesn't necessarily mean it's good, doesn't even mean that you're going to like it. So if you don't have an older anime fan to help you, read the synopsis. See what it's about before you watch it, because nothing will burn you out of a type of show like anime faster than watching something that you don't like. So take it with a grain of salt. This list is good, not great, but it's good. It's passable. But yeah. Remember, even writers make mistakes. So if you see an inconsistency, Arlong from One Piece, that's okay. I guarantee you I'll find that inconsistency and we'll talk about it here. So, thanks for watching. And if you have any more questions about any of these anime or, any anime in different genres, feel free to ask in the comments below. And remember, Death Note's bad, fight me in the comments.